Episode 122, Brandon Hoy. Good morrow, and welcome to the Realm. I am author J.V. Hilliard, and today I have a very special guest, author Brandon Hoy. Brandon, if you don't know, is the author of the Teague Wars, which is a dystopian fantasy that involves a future world war. And we are going to get into his penchant for writing short stories. So if you enjoy reading authors that write in multiple genres, you will enjoy my interview with Brandon Hoy. Here he is. Welcome to the Realm, Brandon Hoy. How are you doing today, Brandon?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Well, man, nice to see you again. And I know we're on opposite sides of the state here. I'm in Pittsburgh and you're in Philly. So I definitely wore my Pittsburgh Penguins shirt just to mess with you a little bit. But thanks for joining the realm today. Why don't you tell our viewers a little bit about the Teague Wars and what you're doing with your current projects?
Yeah, absolutely. My novel series is the Teague Wars. This is going to be a combination of a whole lot of stories kind of coming to an end. So I've been saying it is the beginning to an end of a world war. So I have two books that are released at the moment, and I'm working on my third project right now, book three. This will be released hopefully sometime this year, and all three of these books can be read in any order. So that's kind of exciting about what's phase one of my four phases of my book series will be like.
So tell us a little bit more about the Teague Wars, what they are, and how you came up with the concept for creating them.
Sure. Teague Wars is a fantasy fiction adventure, a journey throughout time where history repeats itself and they are kind of rediscovering their past with their ancient protectors or gods and unraveling the mysteries that were left behind for them.
So you've created these so that you can read them in any order, which I find is pretty unique. Most series, including my own, are done very chronologically. Yours is, hey, just jump in wherever you want to jump in, which book cover or which blurb attracts you the most, and then you're consumed into the story. What motivated you to do that? What kind of inspiration or where did that idea come from? Because I find that very attractive.
So I think one reason why I kind of developed that idea was because when you are creating a character, a lot of the times you are dropped into that character for that specific reason, for that event in their life, and you follow them during those events. But I like to think about how the world is revolving and evolving and going on, not just in the one main character's perspective that you are reading. So I wanted to make sure that you could read any book that you wanted to get involved in the world, and then it would kind of develop along with you.
So how do you wrap that up in the end? If I finish book one and I just chose it because I like the name Emerald X, do my characters in that book hit the same ending at the same time? And or do the other characters in the other three books hit that same? Am I going to find the same ending or is it going to be a different ending to every book?
That's a great question. So the first four in phase one of my series are the ones that you can kind of pick and choose where you want to start. Phase two will have all of their sequels.
Ah,
So the
I
world
get it.
will be progressing as you move into the different phases. So phase three, if the characters survive book two of their story, they will be in phase three wherever their roles take them. So once eventually you get to phase four or maybe phase five, haven't figured all that out yet, there'll be one kind of final book that'll be the World War.
Yeah, I really like the concept. I haven't seen anything like that before. I think that's pretty unique. But I also noticed something else. I didn't know this about you when we met, but when I was doing my research on you, I saw that you are a prolific short story writer. Can you tell our viewership a little bit about your short stories? And I've got some questions about that too.
I'm honored. Thanks for doing some research on me. um,
Hey, man, that's what I do. I'm
I
prepared.
appreciate it.
Boy Scout here, man.
So, short story wise, I am a part of a website called Vocal, and they kind of have competitions or contests. They'll give you like a prompt, and you just need to incorporate the prompt into the story. And they had about six fiction stories you could kind of do prompts for the entire summer. And I had enough time to do four of them, and I loved it. It was like fun again. It reminded me of like why I like to write and produce a story. And I decided to test my boundaries. So one I wrote in first person, which since you've read my book, I don't write in first person. So that
Right.
was difficult for me. I wrote a horror story, one of them, and that was just a lot of fun, and I'm thrilled that you like them because they were a great time for me.
Well, my favorite one is Scarred, but I did like Moon of the Minotaur. But those are my of the four that I read. Those were my two favorite because I write dark fantasy sometimes, and they're really good fits for what I'm doing. But you part of my problem is my process in writing is very planned. I can't do that like what you just did, the prompting and go ahead and write a story now. Like for me, I would have to brainstorm it and then really sit down and 2 months worth of planning for it to get my hands around it. It sounds like to me that you write more like a pantser as opposed to a plotter and a planner like I am. Is that true? I don't want to put words in your mouth, but do you write by the seat of your pants, like old Stephen King style?
Yeah, I am definitely a pantser, and I think one of the big things about that is I let my characters kind of tell me how the story goes. And one of my biggest examples is my current project, book three. Can't tell you the name of it because I'm not sure what it is yet. Um, but my
See,
one
for me, I would
character,
already know the name and have the cover done.
I'm in between two, and I haven't picked the one I like the best. But my one of my characters follows her code to the T and doesn't stray away from that. Well, in one of the situations I had her in, I had her like walk away from something, and I realized that she would kind of see it to completion. So I had to like rewrite the entire scene and now put her in a different projection just because she told me that she wasn't going to give up.
See, that is interesting. So she had her own like sort of Bushido code, and so for me, like I would have already been part of my plan. Though I respect the fact of writers that can do that kind of stuff. I don't have that talent. So I was going to ask before, what's next? It sounds like you have this phase two of this end of a global war that's coming as part of the Teague Wars. Is that really what you've got teed up next, or are you going to explore more short story writing or novella type stuff?
Funny that you ask. Funny you ask. I actually
I swear, we
recently
haven't talked. This was just literally following the breadcrumbs he's leaving in the conversation.
yeah, you're like reading my mind. That's incredible. So book three is something I'm working on currently. I started a little bit with book four. I haven't gotten too far into it, but I actually did start a standalone story. I don't know if it's gonna be a novella yet. I haven't quite decided the length of it. Guess because I'm a pantser. It's actually going to be kind of like a contemporary fiction romance.
Okay, that's a little bit of a swing for the fences. It's a little digression. So I can see that you're not like, hey, this is my genre and that's only me, and you can find me there. You sounds to me like you could play the field here with the kind of stuff you're writing, huh?
Well, I guess that was what the short stories kind of showed me that, there's more out there than just, fiction. Though don't get me wrong, like fiction is still something I really enjoy. I like the idea of making my own rules and making my own world. But yeah,
Yeah, that's
there's a
fun.
story that spoke to me and I was like, romance it is this time.
All right, so instead of getting really granular, let's go to the 30,000 foot level. I mean, you've got many irons in the fire. I mean, do you have some goals that are coming up?
I guess my main goal is to just keep putting out my novels. So I really want to complete phase one, which has four books. And, if I'm looking at a 5 year plan, I really hope that I would be well into phase two by the time 5 years came along. The forever goal, I'm trying to create a new universe for people to get lost in. And I, want a new generation to grow up reading and find themselves a character that they can relate to. So I guess my long-term goal is to kind of be able to build something along those lines. My short term is to just keep pushing along.
So most of our viewership are either avid readers or authors. Have you found traditional publishing to be better? Are you looking at doing indie stuff? I mean, where's your head? What have you found most success with, and why do you like that best?
So I have only done traditional, but it's with an indie publisher. So I have kind of some positives from both. The indie publisher gives me a lot of creativity control. So I kind of pick my own book art, and we work very closely together to get things that I like out. But on the counter side of that, a lot of the promotional and advertisement that I have to do is all on me. So, you double as a writer, a reader, and your own advertisement, which is kind of difficult and draining.
Yeah,
It's a full time job.
it is, and more than that, it's kind of like your own business, right? Like you've become your own entrepreneur, peddling your wares. In this case, your wares are your books. So, Brandon, we end every show with a lightning round, and we ask our guests to answer a couple of questions with one-word answers or very short snippets. And then if I have to delve a little deeper and pull it out of you, I will. So, are you ready to go for the lightning round?
I'm in.
So, question number one. I know that you're a big gamer. What's your favorite video game?
Dragon Age Origins.
Oh, I did not expect that. Why do you like that?
I actually have it tattooed on my back.
That's commitment,
man. It was a video game that I played at a time where it really just resonated with me, and it helped me through a lot of things. And I beat the game over 50 times, so that's saying something.
Well done. Congratulations. Then I'm going to spin it. I'm going to take you out of video game, and I know you're a big board gamer too. Favorite board game?
I guess my favorite board game, like a flat board game, would be Risk.
Old school. And my last question is, and be ready for this, is any Philadelphia team going to win any championship at all this year?
I don't know anything about sports. I hope so.
Let's go, Pens. Well, hey, look, Brandon, thank you very much for being on the Realm. We appreciate that.
Thanks for having me.
So that was my interview with Brandon. He's an interesting author. He has these books that you can read in any order. It doesn't matter which one you've got in your hand. It all leads to the same thing. If you like that kind of stuff, go ahead and find the Teague Wars. Again, I'm J.V. Hilliard, and may your gods go with you.